action. Hey there, movie kings and queens. Welcome to episode 17 of the Real Gay Movie Show. I'm your host, Mike Lovins, and with me, as always, is the guy that's always making plans to steal my jewels, my co-host, Ryan Provost.
I was not at all prepared for that. Oh, I'm so glad. So, listeners, you don't know this, but typically our beverages of choice, Mike usually has a beer and I usually have just a bottle of water. But this week I had me a little can of Rosé. So I am fully prepared for your dad jokes, Mike. Bring them on.
All right.
I'm ready. Hold on. I need a few more sips.
Our co-host today is alcohol.
And that's right. You heard correct. A can of Rosé.
A can of Rosé.
Because I keeps it classy, y'all.
I just said a can of Roseanne.
I mean, Roseanne got canned.
Yeah, that's very true.
So there is that.
So you doing good, Ryan?
This episode's going to be off the walls.
It's, yeah.
The lost episode.
Cheers.
Oh, I thought you were about to pour that in there. It's like, no, don't ruin my rosé.
My rosé, oh my God.
My stars. Hey, happy Pride Week, Mike.
Happy Pride, that's right.
It's Pride Week here in Columbus, Ohio. I know a lot of places have already had their prides. Like, I know DC was this past weekend, and I think out in LA they had theirs. Cleveland had theirs.
Cleveland had theirs
weeks ago. But Columbus is coming up, the big one.
You know what bothers me though about Columbus Pride?
What's that?
It is always now on Father's Day weekend.
Well, you gotta celebrate the daddies. They're a big part of our community, Mike.
Yeah, that's true. But I want to go out and party, and I want to do Baton Rouge and all that stuff. And like my kids just they've come along with me a couple times, like Baton Rouge, but now they're like, kind of over it. But
God damn it, Mike. I had such a repressed childhood. You know how much I would have loved to be over watching drag queens play softball? Your kids are spoiled, privileged monsters.
I agree. I agree.
Tell them to get over it.
They are over it.
It's Daddy's Day. We're going to watch the drag queens play softball, damn it.
Damn it.
We're doing what Daddy wants to do today. When it's your day, you can do what you want to do.
Right. If you don't want to go see drag softball on your birthday. You
don't want to watch men, full men running around bases and heels, then we'll do that on your birthday.
Right. Oh my gosh. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Hashtag Happy Pride. All right. So before we go on, I just want to comment that I love your shirt.
Oh my God. Thank you, Mike.
Ryan is wearing a tank top that has a rainbow lightsaber and it says, "May the Fierce be with you."
Yeah, I am. I got it from our a local homosexual catering boutique called Torso in the Short North that I really enjoy. I saw it, immediately thought of you and how furiously jealous you might get if I owned it. And so, of course, I bought it immediately and wore it as soon as I could to see you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. So before we get to talking about the movie that we saw this week, I understand you saw another movie.
I saw a little film, Mike. And oh my gosh. So as I've mentioned before, love horror movies. So when I first saw the trailer for Hereditary, it was thoroughly creepy and piqued my interest.
Yeah.
So I had to see that movie this weekend. It was its first weekend out. Even though I knew we were seeing Ocean's 8, I had to see this movie. So I finally went and saw it last night. And Mike, this movie is quite unsettling.
Yeah.
In
a good way, or is it just like
here's what I'll say. I loved it.
Right.
I thought it was absolutely amazing. But I'll compare it to another movie we talked about, A Quiet Place.
Okay.
So A Quiet Place is great horror, and its type of horror is very thrilling, you know? And so I would recommend anyone go see A Quiet Place. I think it's very accessible to all audiences. I think anyone could go see it and really enjoy themselves. I think Hereditary is made for a very specific type of audience.
Gotcha.
I think some people may go in just thinking, "Oh, I like a horror movie. I like scary things," and would leave very disappointed. I understand it even has a pretty low score on, like, the Rotten Tomatoes score is really high. It's in the 90s, but the audience score is only in the 70s. And I think that's because it's not jump scares and thrills and all that kind of stuff. It is just disturbing.
Disturbing. Yeah, that's the word that I've heard.
So some of the things I'll say about it. One, I can't say a lot without ruining the movie. The trailer does a really good job of kind of setting up a base premise of it without giving away the real premise.
Okay.
Because there's something that happens not too long into the movie that you do not see coming at all that really sets the tone. I feel like the trailer only shows you mostly stuff from the beginning of the movie. And then it just goes down this really dark, scary path where you're just following this one family. There's not a lot of characters in the movie. It's basically the family, and you're just watching their lives basically spiral out of control.
Yeah.
And the performance by Toni Collette, I will say, there are some solid performances in horror movies. A Quiet Place, for example. Krasinski and Emily Blunt are so good in it. Toni Collette gives like a best actress worthy performance in this movie.
I've kind of heard other people saying that exact thing, and also saying that because of the genre-ness of this movie, that they're afraid that she won't even get looked at for it.
She won't. I would be shocked if she got any kind of recognition for it, but she absolutely deserves it. There are scenes where it is just her, and my jaw was on the floor with how great a performance she was giving. I mean, it was just wow. I mean, probably a career-defining performance from her. If nothing, no other reason to see this movie, Toni Collette's performance, it might be my favorite female performance. I wouldn't be surprised if it's my favorite female performance of the year.
Wow.
At the end of the year. It is so strong and so good. She is fully invested. I mean, she was even an executive producer of the movie. So I think that goes to show that she was really invested in the story and everything. This was I forget the filmmaker's name, but it was his first movie. And he knocked it out of the park. I can't wait to see the things that he does. And this was the same studio, A24, that did The Witch.
Yeah.
Another movie that I love that I would not recommend to just anyone, because it is the same kind of like deeply disturbing, really creepy.
I really like the stuff that studio has been putting out. They're not afraid to take risks. And it's been paying off, I think.
Man, but this movie, like, I had to watch something after it before I went to bed, because it just haunts you. Like, when I woke up this morning, it was the first thing I was thinking of, or just some of the imagery and things in that movie. And some of the imagery really captured. So there are scenes, when I was a kid, there were times where I would see like very vividly see like a shadowy figure in the corner at night when it was completely dark, and be like, is that really something? And like, this movie captures that.
But there really is something there.
Sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't. And you just don't know. And it's just, so good.
Now, I don't know if answering this gets into spoiler stuff or not, but is it gory?
There are a couple of scenes that are particularly jarring in that respect.
Okay.
But I would say, like I said, it's not a whole bunch of jump scares. Like, it's not a bunch of things popping out of nowhere. There are a couple of those times. It is mostly just like, it's messing with your emotions. And I mean, there are a couple times where the audience reaction, and it kind of bugged me. There are a couple like really creepy moments where the audience was like laughing, and I don't know if it was like uncomfortable laughter or like, oh, this is silly kind of laughter, but I was like deeply moved and disturbed. Like, oh my God, this is the creepiest thing. And I mean, after the ending, you're like, what did I just see? What did I just watch?
Yeah.
It's a lot to process, but I love that kind of horror. I love the kind of horror that's just, it just leaves you feeling like whoever made this is so messed up.
So if we were doing a normal review, what
Yeah.
would you rate it?
So I would rate it probably 3.5 reels, maybe even close to a 4 reels. It is maybe 3.5 just because I don't think it's accessible to everyone.
Okay.
I think that it does take, I think specific people will really enjoy it, but I would not tell just anyone, hey, you should go see this movie.
Gotcha.
Whereas I would tell anyone who likes horror to go see A Quiet Place. I would have reservations about telling some people to see this movie.
I feel like as a movie fan in general, I'm going to have to see it, even if it creeps the fuck out of me.
I mean, you should. I think you should, Mike. I think you'll really. I don't know what you'll think about it. I actually would be really interested to hear what you think about it. Yeah, it's just so disturbing and creepy, and I loved it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm probably going to end up checking that out.
Is it sad that I was more excited to talk about that than our main feature?
No.
I mean, I'm excited to talk about Ocean's 8, but Hereditary was an experience.
Well, so
let's jump in.
Let's
jump into Ocean's 8.
Let's jump into that ocean. So Ocean's 8 is the 4th movie now in this this Ocean's franchise, not including the original 1960
right.
movie.
This iteration.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this takes place then after it's not like a prequel or anything like that. It takes place after the events of Ocean's 13. But so this now is Sandra Bullock leading this off, and it's she plays Debbie Ocean, which was Danny Ocean's sister, and she gathers an all-female crew to attempt an impossible heist at New York City's yearly Met Gala. So the George Clooney-led trilogy had been directed by Steven Soderbergh, all 3 of those. But this time around, it's Gary Ross who directed The Hunger Games and Seabiscuit and Pleasantville. Kind of a different style, but it kind of felt like, though, that he was trying to mimic the way that Soderbergh directed. Some of the close zooms and the way the screen would divide up into sections. And what was your initial thought after seeing the movie?
Well, let me give some context. I've seen Ocean's 11. I have not seen 12 or 13.
Okay. So
I'm comparing this only, I guess, to Ocean's 11.
That's fair. That's pretty much where I'm coming from too.
Yeah. So I'll say this. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Overall, if you have any inclination to see this movie, I would say go for it. But I was left a little underwhelmed. I had higher expectations and higher hopes for it, I guess, than what I got out of it. I thought a lot of the performances were really good. I think some of the performances I was expecting to not be great were better than I hoped for, and some of the performances I had high hopes for were not as great as I wanted.
Okay.
So it didn't quite hit the expectations I wanted, but I had fun. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was solid. But probably not one I'm going to rewatch a lot.
Yeah, so fun was actually the exact word that I said for it. It was a fun film, but I mean, it totally lacked originality.
Yes.
It was a great cast, and another successful female-led movie, but I had just recently watched Ocean's 11.
Mm-hmm.
And in a little bit here, when we start talking some spoilers, which is going to be quickly because I don't think we're going to have a whole lot to discuss. But I can tell you some of the beat for beat things that they repeated from the first Ocean's 11 movie.
Right.
There are some plot points that are just exactly taken from that first one, that it's like, was this actually a sequel or was this a reboot? You know what I mean?
I think they were kind of going for both, because think about it. Ocean's 8, if they're going to make this a trilogy, it would be 8, 9, 10.
Right.
Which then there's 11, 12, 11 and 13 12, already.
Yeah.
So I think they definitely intend for this to be the start of a...
So these are the prequels.
But that's what's weird. 8, 9, and 10 are going to be the sequels.
Right.
It's kind of like Star Wars in that respect, in a little way.
But these do take after.
I know. So chronologically, it goes 11, 12, 13, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
If that's what they do. But yeah, you can tell they totally intend for this to be a launch of a new reboot. And you know what? If they announce Ocean's 9 tomorrow, I'll be excited for it. I'll give it a shot. If anything, I think that because they already have this one under their belt, maybe doing another one will free them up to be a little more creative.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. To some degree, though, I mean, I get where using familiar names, and there were a couple cameos in here from people from the first trilogy.
I counted 2. Yeah. 2 probably less expected ones, actually. Yep.
Yeah. And there was a third that was actually cut.
Okay.
But I would have almost liked to have just seen, instead of carrying on the ocean thing, if they just done a female-led heist film. But I can see where, like, tying in the ocean stuff gives you hopefully a guaranteed audience.
Yes, I think those thoughts as well, but I think there's a way they could have done this that would have built on to what we like about the Ocean's movies, but maybe taken it in a different direction. So I don't know. Did you see Logan Lucky last year?
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
I've seen the trailers.
So that is a Steven Soderbergh directed heist film, but instead of being focused on all these like high-end, high society people like the Ocean's movies are, it's focused on these like very blue collar group of people literally robbing a NASCAR race.
Yeah.
In North Carolina. And even though it's a heist film from Steven Soderbergh and it follows a lot of similar beats as the Ocean's movies, it is so fun and so good. If you haven't seen Logan Lucky, and not a lot of people did, it is amazing. And so that is a really good example of taking that same heist concept and making it seem different and original enough, which ironically the same director of the Ocean's movies did.
Yeah.
So I wish this had been more like that, taking this heist concept, but maybe in a little bit of a different direction than what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Again, that was a low-key recommendation. If you have not seen Logan Lucky, it is so good. It was one of my favorite movies last year.
Yeah, it's actually still in my Amazon queue. I just haven't.
Is it on? Is it on Prime?
Yeah.
Oh,
or at least it was.
You gotta watch it, Mike. You got to. It's so good.
Well, let's go ahead and dig into the movie, because there's a couple things I want to talk about, and I don't want to
see your claws out. Dig in, Mike.
Yeah, I don't want to skirt around. So,
where are you going with this?
All right. So yeah, we said that there were a couple cameos. So Elliot Gould was one of them.
Yes.
He was probably the
I guess,
more.
Are we in spoiler time now?
Yeah, we are in spoiler. Now.
So Mike already spoiled. So spoiler alert: if you have not seen Ocean's 8,
said we were going to dig deep now into it. If people don't know what that means.
That's coded language for spoiler time. It is spoiler o'clock.
It's Ocean's 8. Come on, it's not Infinity War. We're not giving away too much here.
When Sandra Bullock snapped her fingers and half of it became Ocean's
half
4.
Of the net. Yeah.
That was that was a good snap.
Thanks.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, girl, I can snap.
Hey, girl.
All right. So, so Elliot Gould was who played Ruben in the original trilogy. I'm gonna keep referring to the George Clooney version as the original trilogy. I know that there was the Frank Sinatra version, but these are the two that we're comparing. So, so Matt Damon actually had filmed a scene for this movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, reprising his role as Linus, and it got cut.
Well, why would you want Matt Damon in your movie?
Right? I mean,
he's such a B-list actor. I mean, he doesn't have anything going for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Get that guy out of here.
Well,
we got to make time for Elliot Gould.
Right. Nobody wants to see Matt Damon do cameos. He hasn't done any cameos recently. In a way, though, I when I first heard about that, I was like, oh, man, I would have liked to have seen that. But then, the more I thought about it, I was like, it may have cheapened the movie a little bit. Just like we've got this new cast and a minor cameo from like Elliot Gould, and then we also had
the little acrobat.
Yeah. So Kin Sheabo, I'm totally butchering that, but yeah, the little Asian guy who contorts himself to fit inside the box. He did that again.
That I will say that cameo, one, did not see coming, and
right.
two, I did appreciate that. I liked how they, of all the people from the original,
right,
I liked how they used him.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. I appreciated it.
That's fine.
Is he or no, ma'am, Mike?
No, actually, he's not.
Okay, good.
He does fall somewhere into my shadiest take, but
no.
It's not him by himself. But one of the other cameos, I want to get your opinion on this. Dakota Fanning.
I missed it.
Okay, so the fact that you missed that kind of goes to my point. I was just thinking, okay, was that a wasted role or just a fun cameo? But I don't know. Probably doesn't matter one way or the other.
Yeah, she didn't have enough of a presence for me to think anything of it. Honestly, until about 15 seconds ago, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't have much of an opinion on it, but I appreciate that you are very fired up about it.
I don't know that I'd say I'm fired up about it.
I don't know. I see some rage in your heart.
I almost want to get right to our takes because there's some I want.
There's some I need to get off my chest.
Yeah.
Mike looks downright angry right now. You look personally offended by this film.
When I went back and watched Ocean's 11, and I'm like, okay, they did that, they did that. It actually made me appreciate Ocean's 8 even less than I did when I walked out of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, Ocean's 11 is, I mean, I'm guessing you feel the same way. It's really good.
Yeah.
I recently, probably about a year ago, rewatched it. Like I was cleaning my house and just put it on to be in the background and did not get my house clean because I got so sucked into the movie.
Yeah.
Because it's just so good. It's such a fun watch and you just get sucked in. And I can't see myself having that same reaction whenever this movie comes out on like on demand or anything. I can't see that happening with this movie.
Correct. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So I'm saying that to co-sign your absolute rage towards women taking the lead in movies.
Oh, no.
Mike's on the record. There's no place for women in film. It's fine.
That stings. No, that's not true. Granted, the screen full of eye candy that is in Ocean's 11 is a little more appealing to me.
You. Yeah, personally.
But I'll tell you what, though.
I don't know. These ladies were pretty delicious.
I was just gonna say, let's look at this cast.
Yeah.
Sandra Bullock, still gorgeous.
She looked great.
Cate Blanchett, that woman is fierce.
Listen, I'm used to seeing her in like very serious roles, and so seeing her in something where she got to have a little fun, I wanted her to do more. of that.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that character.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway, fantastic.
I'm going to get to her in my takes.
Yeah, me too. Mindy Kaling was...
I'm going to get to her in my takes.
In my opinion of just of this cast that was in here, she, to me at least, was not as appealing as the others. But neither of these are in my takes. But Awkwafina and Rihanna, those girls were fun.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. Awkwafina, I didn't know her name until researching this movie. But I've seen her in some stuff, and I just saw the trailer too. I think we saw the trailer together before this movie, but for what was that? Crazy Asians or something?
Crazy Rich Asians?
Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah. Which, by the way, yeah, that trailer, I loved that trailer. I'm very excited for that movie. I fully hate that title.
It's not a good title.
It's a terrible title, but the trailer was so fun. I cannot wait to see that movie. I hope to God's graces that they change the title before that movie comes out, because that's just, I don't know, Crazy Rich Asians, just, I don't, it just, maybe it's the, politically correct culture we live in, but it just rubs me a little bit the wrong way. Like, you're just like, it's almost like Hollywood said, what is this movie we have? Let's it's a bunch of Crazy Rich Asians. Let's call it that. Because if it was the same plot with white people, it wouldn't be called Crazy Rich White People. It'd be like An Evening with the Joneses,
Right.
A Weekend on the Island. It would be called something like that, not Crazy Rich White People. And so the fact that they have to go to that denominator, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, but I was very just put off by the title because I was so bought into that whole trailer. It looks so good.
Well,
Awkwafina. I thought she was great.
I feel like that's not
I
her
got on a
given
tangent.
name.
I'm sorry.
I'm guessing that's not her given name.
That's not her Christian name.
Or Buddhist or whatever she is.
Or drag.
Yeah.
Maybe drag.
Awkwafina sounds like a drag name.
Well, because there's a season 10 drag race queen called
Dasani.
Dasani would be a great one. No, there's a drag queen on season 10 named Aquaria.
Okay.
Which sounds similar.
Yeah.
A little.
Okay.
In that it has aqua in it.
I just think it's funny that she named herself after a bottle of water.
I mean, who doesn't these days?
Right?
Ice Mountain over here.
Yeah. My name is Smartwater.
Is it?
No. Anything but. And then rounding out that our 8 main cast is Helena Bonham Carter, which she's just a veteran. She always plays that same kind of quirky role.
But here's what I'll say: of the 8 in the Ocean's 8, she was the one I was least excited for. But the one I was probably maybe most pleasantly surprised by.
I liked her role.
I really liked how they used her in this movie. And I thought they used her kind of quirkiness because I didn't know she was going to be a fashion designer.
Yeah.
And she played such a great, just nervous, twitchy, weird fashion designer.
Yeah.
I liked how they used her. I mean, when you think Ocean's 8, you think, okay, they're going to take the 8 biggest female stars of today, right?
Yeah.
And when you think of that, you don't think of Helena Bonham Carter.
No.
Right? I mean, I don't think I'm alone in saying that. But I thought she played a really good role in this movie and was better than I expected her to be.
Yeah. You know who else I kind of felt like that was Sarah Paulson.
Oh, I adore Sarah Paulson. She is so great. I love everything she does.
I liked how they used her as this suburban mom that's got these skills that she has a garage full of stuff that seems like she's probably fenced that she's trying to sell, and
she's so good in everything she does. Did you ever see the People versus O.J. Simpson miniseries?
No.
She plays Marcia Clark in that.
Okay.
Oh, she's so good in that. She's in the HBO movie Game Change about John McCain and Sarah Palin in 2008.
I think I saw some of that.
She's in that. She's so good. She is just such an amazing actress and an out lesbian, which makes it.
Is she? I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, she is, which makes it even better.
Okay.
So she is one of our people, and she is just so amazing. I mean, one, stunning, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Two, an amazing actress. Always, I feel like, steals whatever she is in. And three, just does different things. She doesn't stick to just one kind of role or one kind of performance. She does all different kinds of stuff. And I just love that about her.
Yeah.
I'm a big Sarah Paulson fan.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I will have
And she did well in this too.
Yeah, she did do well in this. And well enough too that I kind of want to check out some more of what she's been in, especially
You need to.
Especially now knowing that she's family.
She's one of us.
One of the things though about this movie that kind of got me a little bit was I just kind of felt like the cards stacked up just rather neatly for them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say here?
And that kind of happens in the Ocean's movies. I say that only having seen Ocean's 11 in this one. But I mean, you could make that same argument in a lot of respects with Ocean's 11. I think.
Yeah, I guess, but it felt more so like that in this one. Like it was just everything for their plan just lined up just so nicely.
Yeah. I did have an issue. I didn't think the heist in this one was the best. I'm gonna get to that a little bit more in my takes.
Okay.
But I did have a little bit of an issue with the heist. I found the heist a little underwhelming in how they executed it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what other things in general about the movie do you want to talk about before we get to our takes? Because I just don't feel like there's a whole lot about this movie that's like...
I'll say, I mean, it sounds like we're kind of down on it, but it's fun. It is a fun movie. Not as fun as I had hoped.
Yeah.
But I like the foundation they've set, and I think that if they do an Ocean's 9, I hope that they will be a little more, maybe take a little more risks in what they do.
A little bit more liberty with
Think a little bit more outside the box.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I love the idea of taking some properties that have been dominated by men for no reason at all. I mean, there's no reason in Ocean's 11 that some of the characters of the 11 couldn't have been women.
Right.
And I thought about that as I was watching this movie. It's like, wait, why do they all have to be women here? Well, why did they all have to be men there? You know what I mean? And they make a point of saying that at some points of this movie.
I was just going to say that there was a scene in here where they were like trying to find recruits, and somebody showed a picture of a man, and I think it was Sandra Bullock that said no men.
Right.
Men bring attention, women don't.
Right. Which I think was kind of like a little bit of social commentary on why in previous movies they never had a woman, you know? So I'm on board with the idea of remaking some traditionally male movies with female casts. But if you're going to do that, I also think that you might as well mess with the formula of those movies to make them original and unique and a little more different, so that it doesn't just feel like, I don't know, just an all-female retread of something we've already done before. And I think this one got a little too close to that feel.
See, in my opinion, when they do that, like, I'm all for having a movie that's an all-female led cast, but when it's take a property that already exists and make it, I felt this way with Ghostbusters too. It's just like, I think it kind of almost does a disservice to the property and to the to the cast that are in it, like, it's just like, oh, well, to make a successful movie with an all-female cast, we have to retread something that's already been done.
That men have done.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, I struggle with it because I think that there is a really good Oceans movie that can be made with all women.
Yeah.
I think there's a really good Ghostbusters movie that can be made with all women. I think there's a really good, I don't know, pick a movie that was just all men, or a genre that was all men that could be made really well with all women. But there just has to be that element of not just the fact that they're women that makes it different, but something about the story, something about the take on it, something with it that makes it different enough to not just make it a remake with women.
Right.
Because then it truly is, hey, look at this great thing that had men in it. Well, now that exact same thing has women in it. And at least, I mean, the women in Ghostbusters, I was a really big fan of. I love Melissa McCarthy. I love
Kate McKinnon.
I love Kristen Wiig. I love Leslie Jones. I love the women in this movie.
Right.
Sandra Bullock, Kate Blanchett, all this. They are too talented to just retread a plot that's already been done before.
Right.
They are all far above that kind of talent level. And so give them something a little different to do. I'm fine with it being called Ocean's 8. Just, I don't know, give it a twist. Give it something different. Give it something, I don't know, more fun about it, because there's that opportunity there. Don't just rehash it. And I think Hollywood maybe is playing it a little too safe with some of these female-led remakes.
I agree. Well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and get into our takes.
Jump into some takes.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
I mean, my can of rosé is getting quite low.
See, we got to wrap this up so we can get more alcohol. All right, gayest take.
Okay. I mean, mine isn't purely a gayest take, but I don't know. I want to know your thoughts, because I have pretty strong thoughts about this too.
Okay.
Which Anne Hathaway do you prefer? Like, kind of bitchy, fierce, like this movie, Catwoman, kind of Anne Hathaway, or like the sweet, nice, innocent, Devil Wears Prada princess, what's it called? What's that movie that she...
Princess Diaries,
Anne Hathaway. Which Anne Hathaway do you prefer?
I like this Anne Hathaway.
Me too. I love... because for whatever reason, she's like so great. I love Anne Hathaway, but she is so like maligned. Like, people act like she is just... You're kind of looking at me confused.
Oh, no.
Okay. But she has this, like, I don't know, like reputation, like, oh, she thinks she's so great, you know? And I love seeing her in roles like this where she just fully embraces that kind of character and goes for it.
I think it's because she does that sweet, innocent girl so well that then when she does a role like this, that she also does it so well. It's just like, so different, but yet still so her.
Yeah. I mean, so we recently talked about Solo. Can you imagine her in the Kira role?
I would have loved that.
Right. Like, she does that, like, kind of sweet looking, very kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Naive?
Not naive. Unassuming.
Okay.
Innocent female role who really has like some deep dark secrets really, really well. She is such a great actress, and she does both sides really well. But I love when I see the mean, shady side of Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. For Solo, I mean, hypothetically, she's probably a bit too old for that role, but somebody like her,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. She's maintained a really youthful appearance. I feel
she
like
really has.
I don't think she looks that different from her Devil Wears Prada day.
No,
that was 12 years ago. She's doing great.
I want some of what she's taking.
I need some of that on my face, whatever she's putting on there, whatever that lotion is. No, she's doing great. So I love this version of Anne Hathaway. I am a fan.
Me too. So for me, it was all that fashion.
Oh, yes.
There was
Yeah.
there was a lot of beauty going on
There
in
was
this
a
movie.
lot of beauty. It made you want to go to the Met Gala, didn't it?
It kind of did. I could never afford to get in there, but
absolutely not. They would kick me out immediately.
right, I'd have to be like one of the wait staff if I
They
ever
wouldn't
wanted.
even let me do that.
Let's get to our shadiest take.
Yeah, let's do it, Mike.
All right. You go ahead.
So my shadiest take is about the heist.
Okay.
I want to get into this.
Let's do it.
The heist was so underwhelming for me.
Okay.
So here's what I propose should have been different. I always say what should have been. Here's what I think should have been different. So
Because when you have a problem, you have to propose a solution.
to fix it. I am not just pointing at problems. I am fixing them.
True manager.
Right. So here's the deal. Here's the tea. So the premise of the heist is they're stealing this very expensive necklace.
Yeah.
The big reveal, as what happens in Ocean's movies, is that that is not everything to the heist.
Right.
So in stealing this very expensive necklace, it was a distraction while they were stealing other very expensive necklaces that were on display at the Met Gala.
Correct.
So in unraveling this plot, they both keep almost all of the necklace they stole and all the other necklaces they stole. I don't know. Something about it just seemed a little too far-fetched for me. I wish that at some point they would have been, and I think this would have been a good twist to make this movie completely different from maybe some of the other Ocean's movies. But they got caught. The necklace got retrieved. It looks like they've been foiled. Everything's just fucked. And they're just like, you know, they all go their separate ways feeling defeated. And this movie feels completely different. It's like, oh my God, like they didn't get away with it. And that, like, the movie almost feels like it's ending. And then it flash forwards maybe a few years later, and then it gets revealed, okay, here's what we actually did.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the movie almost feels like it's ending with everything got ruined. This is a different Ocean's movie. She's not her brother. She's almost like, you know, things you think, like stereotypes with females, like she wasn't as smart. She wasn't as good. She wasn't as cunning. She wasn't right. But then it turns out she actually stole a lot more through stealing all this other stuff. Like, did all this extra jail time, but came out so much richer and actually like pulled it all off.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. I wish that had been the reveal instead of, oh yeah, we stole this necklace and all these others. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was just a little like, okay, but like, what were the stakes there? You know,
Right.
like you just happened to steal some extra stuff.
That goes right back into what I was saying earlier. It just felt like everything that they were trying to do felt kind of convenient and fell into place.
I wish it had felt a little more like, oh no, they actually like failed. They didn't make it. It didn't work out for them. Everything went to shit, you know?
Right.
And then it gets revealed at the very end. Nope. Like they had this whole side thing going the whole time. You didn't realize it. There you go.
I like that.
I wish that had been, and that would have taken the heist to a different level that would have been completely separate from the previous movies. That would have separated this movie enough to make it a solid higher rating for me than what I'm going to give it.
Well, they did themselves a disservice by not hiring you as a creative consultant.
That is all I'm saying, Mike, is I am meant to improve these stories.
See, they can still write it, but they need to run it by you first.
Run it by me.
Yeah.
I am being wasted here.
No, you're getting wasted here.
And getting. Yes.
All right.
So what is your shadiest take, Mike?
Well, I have
Several.
Let me go down my list, y'all. Yeah, so I'm gonna bring it back around to my comparisons to the George Clooney Ocean's
the
11.
original George Clooney remake of Ocean's 11.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. All right, so my shadiest take is obviously just how similar they are, and it starts off. Both movies start with said ocean being released on parole and going through their questioning of, what are you going to do when you get out? Are you going to still be hanging around with people that cause you trouble? You know, like both of them start off exactly that way. Then both oceans have a revenge plan within their plan that involves an ex, and the partner both threaten to walk over it, and both exes deal in art. I mean, it was like there are some
beat for beats
going on here. You actually kind of said that you liked this, and honestly I did too, but still both movies use the tiny Asian man to put him in a cart and get through the lasers and stuff like that. I mean, you know, it's just like, even though it's the same character, it's still the same plot there, or, you know, plot device or whatever you want to call it. And the take for both of these was said to be $150 million worth of stuff. It was just like, they couldn't even change the dollar amount. It was like, yeah. So, and those are just the ones that I like noted.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Yeah.
It was almost part of my takes, wasn't, and I haven't talked about it, and I want to. So they kind of tease that Danny Ocean is dead, so George Clooney's character, but like they keep alluding to, is he really? Like, she says things like, you better be in there at his sarcophagus. What did you think about the fact that ultimately, now, if there's a sequel, it could be revealed that maybe he's not dead, but in this movie, at least, he's dead. He's not there. That was the thing.
Well, and because I hadn't seen Ocean's 13, I started wondering, did he die in that movie? But then you look at the date on his...
It was 2018.
Yeah, it was 2018.
That he died in a sarcophagus.
Yeah, so...
I just want to say...
Sarcophagus.
Because it was not a coffin.
It was not a coffin.
Or what's it called? Grave site?
Right.
It was a sarcophagus.
Yeah. I half expected, when at the very end of the movie, when she's sitting there and she's pouring a drink, I expected him to walk up behind her.
Where's my drink? You know, something like that.
Did you pour one for me?
Yes. I was disappointed that he didn't.
Yeah, I really kind of thought that that's where they were going to go with that.
I was hoping that they would, because that would kind of lend itself to the sequel.
Yeah.
You know? And it didn't, and it saddened me.
All right, so who slayed for you?
Actually, the person who slayed for me, the characters I was not most excited about, but who turned it out for me, I really liked Rihanna. I thought she was great as Nineball. Was that her name? Nineball? Yeah. I kind of like that character. I mean, she played the tropey, hacker character, but I don't know. I kind of liked her take on it. I thought it was fun, and I just like her screen presence. I want to see Rihanna in more things. I want to see her be a more central figure in a fun comedy action movie. I think based on seeing her presence in this, that she could be like the lead in a fun action comedy. Like she could have been Domino in Deadpool 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she could have stolen that role. She could have, as great as what's her name? Something Beats.
Yeah. Something beats.
As great as she was in that role, and I mean she stole the show in that role. I think Rihanna could have done something like that, and that kind of role is like built for Rihanna, and I want to see her steal a movie like that. I don't think she quite stole this movie because I think there were a lot of characters in it, but I saw that like spark and that potential, and I really liked that in her.
Yeah, she was fun. She was a fun character.
And you can tell she has fun doing this.
Yeah.
It seems like she really enjoys doing these movies.
I read somewhere too where she commented about loved being able to have those dreads.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great. I loved it.
So for me, it was Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
I originally was kind of thinking Cate Blanchett, but the more I thought about how I loved the twist with Anne Hathaway then like joining the crew.
Yeah. The problem with that I have is that the movie's called Ocean's 8, so you know there's going to be 8 ladies. And there were only 7 involved in the heist originally. And in the trailers, I don't know if you caught this, but in some of the trailers, like they show like the subway scene where they're all on the subway together and she's there with them.
Oh, yeah.
And so I kind of expected it. I kind of saw it coming. I think they gave a little too much away.
And that's fair. But regardless, I liked her performance enough to say that Anne Hathaway.
Yeah, that's more of a criticism of the marketing of the movie than the performance. She was great in it. Yeah.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'ams. And I hate to do this because I adore this person, but she is 0 for 2 in big movies for me this year. I think you know who I'm going to say, but Mindy Kaling.
Yeah.
It was the same in Wrinkle in Time, and now in this, she just was given nothing to do. Absolutely nothing. She is so talented, so funny, so great, and they gave her absolutely nothing to do. I thought her character was wasted. I thought her talent was wasted. It has nothing to do with her because she is phenomenal. I just thought that character was abysmal. It was nothing.
You know, and she was one that I was considering. I didn't go with her. But the reason why I didn't was because I didn't feel like it was her performance, so that led me to a different direction.
Yeah.
But I can totally see where you're coming from.
I mean, she sat in the bathroom and cut the freaking diamonds out?
Yeah.
That's all she did. She didn't even have like good witty banter to go with her stale character.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even give her like a personality to go with it, you know, like a fun personality.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, because she is so animated, so great, so funny. Why would you waste that? Why would you waste having Mindy Kaling in this movie and not give her some great stuff to do? Same with Wrinkle in Time. Why would you waste having Mindy Kaling be in that movie without giving her something interesting to do?
Which is interesting too, because if you think about like, she's a higher rated actress, I would say right now than say Awkwafina, but I felt like they gave her more to do than they did to Mindy.
Yeah, absolutely they did. And
whereas those roles maybe could have been reversed.
I mean, and maybe some of that blame goes to Mindy Kaling for choosing these roles and, you know, getting into these roles. But she's just, I want to see more out of her. She has so much potential. She should not be wasted in stuff like A Wrinkle in Time and this.
Unless that's just how she is on the big screen. Maybe her place is on the little screen.
No, I don't believe it. I think that there is something she can do where she can shine. I refuse to believe that, Mike. I like her too much.
Okay. That's fair. That's fine.
Who is your no, ma'am?
So mine goes to 3 people.
A throuple.
A throuple. And they happen during the cameos as the at the beginning of the Met. Kim Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, and Kendall Jenner. I am just so over that family that just seeing them on the screen cheapened that for me.
You're not even trying to keep up with the Kardashians. You're trying to keep
I'm
out the Kardashians.
Out the Kardashians, yes.
At least Kanye wasn't there with his Make America Great hat, with his MAGA hat.
I would have gotten up and walked out at that point.
We didn't even tell the listeners this was like one of the rare movies that we've actually seen together.
We've only seen one other one together, and that was before
Darkest
we
Hour.
started. We hadn't even started doing the podcast yet then. Yeah, so
we never see these movies together.
Yeah,
it was real sweet.
It was.
Nice. It was nice. Although, like, after the movie, I was like, well, I can't talk to you about it because we have to save all our banter for this. So I was, like, trying to be kind of quiet, like, yeah, it was fine. Like, you asked me, what'd you think of it? Oh, it was good.
Well, that's why if for the people who follow us on social media, I had put out there that we just saw this movie together, but if you want to know what we thought about it, you're going to have to tune in later.
Yeah, we don't give this out just for nothing.
Right?
You have to listen to us. You have to listen to our fucking voices.
Our fucking voices. All right. So let's go ahead and rate this.
Let's rate this bitch.
You want me to start?
You go ahead.
Okay, I'll go start. I'll go start.
You'll go start.
I'll
You'll
go
go start. Mike, go start now.
I'll go start now. I gave it 2.5.
Okay.
And I kind of went with some of the recent logic that you've instilled on me.
Yes.
Okay. So I definitely thought it needed work, but because I did actually, despite everything we've just been talking about here, I did have a good time and I liked the people that were in the movie. So that's what kind of bumped it up to a 2.5 for me.
Yep.
So what did you give it?
Exact same. 2.5 because clearly needs work, but I left thinking I want them to make Ocean's 9.
Yeah.
And because I want them to make Ocean's 9, that's where it gets the half. I think this is a solid premise, a solid franchise that they could reboot and restart, but I hope that they find better footing with whatever they do from here.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up Ocean's 8.
Done.
Done.
We're done with it.
We're done with this one. So now let's move on to our weekly recommendations.
Yes! Best time of the week.
I can't hear. I can't wait to hear.
I can't hear. Mike has sudden onset deaf syndrome.
I can't wait to hear what you've got to recommendation. Fuck it. Just what do you got?
And I'm the one that drank a whole can of rosé. Mike.
Yeah.
My recommendation is the new FX series. I have seen episode 1. I believe it's the only episode that's out so far, but the new series Pose.
Okay, tell me about it.
It is the new Ryan Murphy series, which I gotta say, I think Ryan Murphy a little underrated. He is checking out some really Glee was such a hit when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
American Horror Story, now the American Crime Story series, which my first recommendation was the most recent season of American Crime Story, to now this. He is doing some really fun, interesting stuff from a very unique perspective. And some of the stuff is through the lens of the LGBTQ community in a way that is different and unique, including and especially this. So Pose takes place in the 1980s in New York in the Paris is Burning ball culture.
Okay.
Have you seen Paris is Burning?
No.
Mike. My God. So Paris is Burning is
I've heard the Dawkins song, but I'm guessing it has nothing to do with
it. Paris is Burning is a classic gay documentary about this ball culture.
Okay.
So Ryan Murphy has created a series about it, and it is I don't want to misquote it, but the largest cast of trans actors and actresses in a series ever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They actually, so the ball culture had a lot of trans and gender fluid folks at the center of it in New York. And all the actresses, for the most part, in it who play these trans people are actual trans people. So they get actual trans actresses who are so incredible. The performances, that's one thing with Ryan Murphy. He gets great performances out of people, from Darren Criss in the last season of American Crime Story, Sarah Paulson, who has been in American Horror Story, and she played Marcia Clark in the OJ American Crime Story. But the performances he is getting out of these actresses and the actors in it are so great. The stories are stories we never get to see in a mainstream setting about this culture, this part of our LGBT history that features predominantly trans people of color. It's so refreshing, so great, so amazing. Has some other big names in it. So James Vanderbeek is in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Evan Peters, who is Quicksilver in the new X-Men movies. Yep. Kate Mara is in it as well. But they play, I mean, these big names play just kind of side characters, at least in the first episode. I mean, the focus truly is on all these people that are central in the ball culture. So they have houses in it. So it's competitions where they are having different categories, and the houses made up of different people have to compete, and they win trophies and all this kind of, it's so fun, so great.
All right.
If you haven't seen Paris is Burning, that is a good prerequisite to see Pose. So I would see Paris is Burning first and then see Pose.
So it's a double recommendation.
Double recommendation for sure. I think we need to do Paris is Burning in a not too distant future Rainbow Rewind for sure. It is so iconic. But Pose does an amazing job of translating those stories, at least so far through episode 1, to the TV screen.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I will check those out.
You should.
Especially if we do a Rainbow Rewind, because then I'm going to have to.
Exactly.
All right. So mine is a movie called Hooked. And
not Hook. Not the Robin Williams grown-up Peter Pan movie.
No, Hooked.
Hooked.
And so it was a crowdfunded movie that was made last year. And it was directed and written by Max Emerson. Do you know who that is at all?
That name sounds super familiar.
So he's a gay, kind of like, he's basically an Instagram star.
Who isn't in these troubling times?
I know, right? But so this was his kind of passion project. It's about this kid named Jack, and he has sex for money with both women and men, but he is gay, and he and his boyfriend are living like in a shelter, and he's trying to get money to get them out of this situation, and he winds up with an older closeted married man with a kid that pays to take him down to Miami. It initially starts out in New York, and they wind up in Miami for the weekend, and he hooks up with somebody else while he's down there, and it actually turns deadly, and but it's actually beautifully shot. I think as a crowdfunded and a first time effort, it's well done in that regard. Now, to get to the main reason why it's in my recommendation. So the score for this movie was done by my friend Tom Goss.
Okay.
And I played bass on some of the music in this movie.
What?
And my name is in the credits.
Ooh.
And I have my one and only IMDb credit from this movie.
Mike, look at you.
Yeah,
you made it.
I know, right? So anyway, so
proud of you.
All that just to get to the fact that it was so fun. So this movie just finally came out on iTunes and digital and DVD. It was so fun to finally see this movie that I worked on the music over a year ago and get to watch it. And during the scenes that I played bass in, to hear my bass prominently played
while this little hooker is tricking himself out.
Exactly.
That's what you were always dreaming of.
I know.
That's what you told me.
I always said one day I was going to provide music for hookers.
That actually is a great album name. Music for Hookers.
Music for Hookers.
And the follow-up, Tricks Are for Kids.
So anyway,
that's a surprisingly melancholy beat. Oh, I'm so proud of you. That's so awesome,
Thanks.
Mike. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay.
All right. Well, anything else to add to today's fun-filled, fantastic Ocean's 8 episode.
Absolutely not.
All right. Then with that, I'm going to say, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Real Gay and Instagram at Real Gay Movie Show. Like our page on Facebook. Also, wherever you listen, whether it be iTunes, Stitcher, Google, YouTube, whatever, make sure you subscribe and give us some feedback. If you are a real friend, you'll do it. So, as I keep saying, we'd love to hear your comments. But listen, as we said earlier, it's June, so it's Pride Month. But this week in Columbus, it's Pride Week. So hashtag Happy Pride, everyone.
Happy Pride, everyone. Be proud of how gay you are, or how straight you are, or how whatever you are. Just be proud of that.
Be proud. Yeah. So
unless you're terrible, don't be proud of that.
Don't be proud of that. No, that's
be fully ashamed.
But nobody that's terrible would listen to our show.
I've promoted to several terrible people.
Well, okay, that's fair. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for this week. Have a real gay day.
Do it, people. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.